Upon reading this question, we see that there's 3 different displacements that the child must walk to get back home. The final displacement is 0, so they need to get back to where they started from. If we call the first 3-meter walk, which was in a positive direction, D1, then what we're saying is the first displacement, D1, which is a vector, so I'll put a little arrow above it, plus the second displacement, D2, which happens to be 7 meters in the opposite direction, plus some unknown vector, which we're going to call D3. All 3 of those displacements have to add to 0. And because they're vectors, we're going to do this tip to tail. So let's do it in order. There's my starting position. Now remember, we're trying to get back to that. I'll put an S for start. Walks 3 meters to the right. So there's my 3 meters in the positive direction. And then at the tip of this vector, I start the next one, which is 7 meters in the other direction. Like that. Now his last vector must get him back home. It starts here and ends back where he started from. I'll do it in red so we can clearly see it. So the last vector must start right here and end back at home. That way his final displacement is 0, and we're trying to figure out what D3 is. And you can see from the gap, if this is 3 meters long, 1, 2, 3 meters long, then there's another 3 going back home, and then he ends up going beyond that, another 4. So D3 has to get him back home. So 3 meters plus -7 meters is -4. He's all the way beyond where he started at a position of -4. To get back home, he has to go to the right, +4. So D3 will equal, as a vector, 4 meters in the positive direction. So +4 meters. Notice if all the vectors are on the same line, in other words, if they're all parallel to each other, as long as you use a sign convention, you can actually solve this mathematically as well. I'll show you that really quickly. So remember, this works if all the vectors are parallel. So here's my equation, D1 plus D2 plus D3 is equal to 0. D1 was +3. You have to watch the signs. And we'll put the meters in. Plus D2 was -7 meters. Plus D3 all has to equal 0. And we're trying to figure out what D3 is. And you can see it's very simple mathematically. So if we drop the units, 3 plus -7 is -4. -4 plus D3 equals 0. And I end up getting D3 is +4 when I bring it to the other side.